What is up, everybody? It's your boy Easy Paradox coming at you another recap video after a phenomenal week of college football. We're going to be talking about some of the ranked on ranked matches and any upset that did occur. This first game we're going to talk about is Washington, Oregon. This game was absolutely crazy. Bananas. I was watching this game. It was back and forth, back and forth. I had a great time. I was also 100% correct on the score. I predicted the game was going to be in the 30s for both teams. Washington was going to come out on top, but I didn't have them covering. One of the blunders, the easy, obvious blunder that Oregon had was the missed field goal. Yes, they missed that field goal at the end of the game, but they performed excellent football. They were the better team in this game. They had over 541 total offense, 32 first downs, 34 minutes of time of possession. They played better football. I say Washington's going to win out, and then Oregon's going to win out, and they're going to play each other again. And this is going to be the game of all games to go into the college playoff team. And I think it's going to be Washington. Washington's going to learn from their mistakes, and they're going to play better ball this next time. But they did get lucky. At home advantage, that 13th man, as Washington State fans say. The next game was North Carolina versus Miami. Miami did not play good football. They had 4 turnovers. Not good. They had over 14 penalties with 147 free yards to North Carolina. North Carolina just played better ball overall. I had Miami winning because I was not a North Carolina believer, but North Carolina is starting to grow on me. They're undefeated still in the ACC, and I think if they keep winning, I think they have a chance to go to the college playoff. I think this is the game that puts them in the top 10, at least like 10th place, because USC, of course, is getting kicked off the top 10. The next game, Oklahoma State versus Kansas. I had Kansas winning this game. I had them winning, and they let me down over there at the OSU game. I thought Oklahoma State wasn't a good team, which they're not. They're not a good team. They're not great. They're pretty middle of the road. Kansas had over two turnovers, and they were shut down offensively. 90 yards rushing. Kansas was in the top 10 FBS schools with the highest rushing yards per game. They average around 200 plus yards rushing. They were held to 90 yards. Oklahoma State held that team. Their defense took the test, saw the film, and held the Kansas team to only 90 yards, which I would say is a pivotal moment why Kansas lost this game. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't move the ball. They had to throw, and they kept throwing. It was all right. The next game that was a huge disappointment for me was the Louisville-Pitt game. Pittsburgh came into this game 1-4. There was a commenter who said that Pittsburgh is a sleeper team. And I laughed. I laughed out loud when I read that comment. But they proved me wrong. Pittsburgh came into this game prepared, oiled machine. And Louisville performed really, really bad overall. They had 3 turnovers. They only had 80 yards rushing. And the reason I bring up the rushing, because Louisville is not known for running the ball, is because it was raining really, really bad in Pittsburgh that day. And you can't throw the ball very well, so you need to have an offensive run game to help facilitate those issues when it comes to weather. They're also 0-4 from fourth down. You're going to go for it on fourth down, at least get 2, at least get 50%, maybe even more. You better be going for it on fourth down in like times of need. And then Louisville, their defense just shattered, crumbled at the essence of Pittsburgh's immense offense, who barely had 200 yards of total offense. I don't know what happened. Pittsburgh just came out on top, and they were like guns a-blazing out there. Next game that I was at a bar, I was watching this game. It was awesome. Was the Oregon State versus UCLA game. I had Oregon State winning. I thought this game wasn't going to break 30, like each team breaking 30 points, but Oregon State did outscore and showed up. UCLA threw 3 interceptions. Not good. One of which was a pick 6. That's just a free 7 points right there. UCLA gave up 282 yards of passing by this Oregon State offense. I remember in my video, I mentioned that Oregon State had a superior quarterback situation, superior offense than the UCLA Bruins. Someone in the comments was like trying to talk about that UCLA's young quarterback was like better or something. But Oregon State had more experience. They came into this game ready to play. And they showed it, 36-24. This game, Washington State, Arizona. In Washington State. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was the fact that Arizona gave 516 total yards of offense to the Washington defense. The quarterback threw 34 for 43. Maybe it's because Washington State's offense gave up 3 turnovers and can't give you the ball back because they were 4 and out. 38 minutes of time possession. Overall, Washington State performed abysmal. Terrible, absolutely trash. They shouldn't even be ranked anymore. They've proven that they cannot play at a consistent level. They coming off a loss. I get it. It was ranked team, rank on rank. We sent them back a little bit, 19, and then they come in here against Arizona at home and lose. They let them score 44 points on them, and they didn't even score 10, sitting at 6 points. Yeah, Arizona is a sleeper team. This is a bright future for that team for up and coming, maybe next year, maybe a couple years from down the road. But Washington State let us all down. The next blunder on unranked opponents was University of Kentucky versus Missouri. I'm pretty sure Missouri was like first out, so like it wasn't like a huge like difference between the two teams. I think coming up in the AP poll, they're just going to switch spots. Kentucky is going to get kicked out probably like to like the 3rd or 4th spot out of the list. Missouri might be 24, 25. But what happened with Kentucky is they threw 3 interceptions. They gave up a fake punt for a touchdown. Missouri punter throwing touchdowns right over the shoulder. Easy work. I don't know how it happened. That's crazy. Kentucky got sacked 4 times. 6 tackles for loss. Their offensive line was in shambles. Missouri was just running it up. Missouri is still 1 loss, and I think they have a chance to prove that they can perform, even though they lost to LSU. Barely lost to LSU. I think they could, if they continue on this track, they have a chance to compete at the highest level. A game that we all came to see, and we wanted to see this weekend. Notre Dame versus USC. Notre Dame was on fire. Absolute fire. USC, on the other hand, they were not on fire. They were bad. We already knew that they had bad defense. Their defense was trash. What we were hoping for was their offense was going to perform. We thought this game was going to be a high-scoring game. 2 elite offenses going back and forth. But what we got was bad defense from UCLA and bad offense from UCLA. With both of those, you're destined to lose. It was like 24 to like 6 at halftime. USC got sacked 6 times. That last game I just talked about, where it was like 4 times, they got sacked 6 times. There was 11 tackles for loss. This offensive line needs to shape up or figure out what the heck happened, because USC turned the ball over 5 times. Notre Dame is probably the best 2-loss team right now up against LSU. Those are the two best. Those are only 2-loss teams in the top 25 as of right now, and I think Notre Dame is the best one. And they've proven, as they covered the spread with ease, and I say with ease, 48-20, no big deal for Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame, if they didn't blunder those 2 losses, I think they could be competing for a national title. But they already lost 2, and they're pretty much out of contention. Right now they're playing for a good bowl, and we'll see them next year. This is our prediction for the top 4 playoffs. We have Georgia at number 1, Michigan at number 2, Washington at number 4, Oklahoma at number 3. It hasn't changed much since last week. If you watched the last week's video, we have in the bubble has changed. Louisville is out. They're no longer in contention of the bubble. They're not a good team. They're a good team, but they're not like highest tier. We have Penn State, Ohio State. That could be switched around with Michigan. Those can just be flipped around. Florida State, North Carolina can also be flipped back and forth because they're both in the same conference. They're both undefeated. And I think that it's going to come down to, if all these teams keep winning and win out, like the Big 12 and the ACC, those 2 teams, those two conferences are going to have a huge discussion in the back room with the playoff committee of which conference had a harder schedule. Was it the Big 12 or was it Florida State? Florida State plays 3-4 ranked opponents. Oklahoma's only played Texas. And they're going to play Texas again. Is that a really true caliber of like your skill? You only play one ranked team twice versus Florida State, which has to keep playing. They're playing Duke, they play Miami, they play UNC, they play a bunch of ranked teams. And then, so who knows? And then up next, this is my dream playoff right here. My Hawkeyes are going to make it. They barely beat Wisconsin, actually commandedly beat Wisconsin with ease. That was the hardest team left on their schedule. And what's going to happen, they're going to get to the Big Ten title game. And the Big Ten champion is going to be Iowa because the other team's going to fumble. They're just going to fumble the bag. And they're going to perform bad. And somehow Iowa's going to have like an excellent offense. But who knows? If you like what you see, and you want more content like this, we're going to have much more content coming in the next couple days. So please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And have a great rest of your weekend. Peace.